disappointed in every one of you.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend you.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I kiss you on the mouth.
No, I'm not cool with that. I'm sorry.
One more time.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I mean, I'm dealing with degenerate animals.
I'm disappointed in every one of you. Disappointed in every one of you.
All right, come on.
Honestly, I can't do it, man.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
Let me tell you why.
It's gonna be all right, Nicky. Go ahead, shoot.
You just killed a little fucking man.
What are you going to do about it?
You're happy because you got nothing. You don't got a thing. You're happy because you got nothing.
Lobito! Got nothing.
I want to get out of this rat hole. I want to get online. I need
BDA boxing.
Well, welcome everybody to another BDA Boxing podcast, broadcasting to you live from the true north. It's a good friend, Mr. BDA, and I sure am glad that everybody could be on board for this one, fellas. In this episode, we got a fantastic one for you, because we got a fantastic card coming up this Saturday, perhaps the best card of the year. Well, at least until August the 3rd, when we got another mega card coming up. But be that as it may, this one, hey, pretty good. A little bit of everything for everybody. We're going to be talking about that. We're going to be making predictions. We're going to be opening up the phone lines. And yes, I personally checked to see if the phone lines were resolved. I gave them a call, by the way. I called them up. I said, hey, the phone lines aren't working. They said, too bad. And I said, you know who you're talking to? They said, who? I said, Mr. BDA, that's who. And they said, oh, shit, excuse me. We'll get right on it, sir. And I said, yeah, you better. So, pulled a couple of strings and, I exert a little weight, push my weight around, if you know what I mean. But anyway, it appears the phone lines are working out, so we're going to be opening it up today, so you guys can call in and let us know who you're picking for this mega card. Talk about some of the other comings and goings of boxing. Maybe if you want to reference some of the stuff we talked about yesterday as it pertains to that exclusive expose, that hard-hitting documentary, Secrets Beneath Secrets, or I forget the exact title. I'm going to look it up again, but it gave you the rundown, lowdown dossier on Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia, and that both guys are really dirty if you think about it. So we're going to talk about some of that, because again, we couldn't open up the phone lines yesterday for that, although we did give you a StreamYard link, so at least we got some different opinions on that subject. But anyway, before we get down to the fun, fellas, let's get the business side of the way. You know the drill. If you want to donate a couple of shekels our way, you're certainly welcome to do so with the Super Chat feature, although it's better if you join the membership program. That way you get more bang for your buck. Don't forget, you can also join the Patreon page, and you can continue funding our independent documentaries that we are producing, one of which is called Boxing's Most Shocking Moments Volume 1. Currently available to you guys, and the link is in the description, by the way, so if you want to check it out, you don't have to look far. And we hope to bring you Volume 2 very, very soon. And, every little bit that you guys give us helps out in the Patreon, all right? But the most important thing is you continue to like, you subscribe, and you spread that BDA gospel, right, fellas? Spread it nice and wide. Also, don't forget, if you want to check us out on Spotify, iTunes, and Spreaker at your leisure, you're more than welcome to do so. And please, if you join the Spotify, or if you listen to the podcast on Spotify, make sure to hit that 5-star button. It really helps us out, all right, people? So please hit that 5-star button. Let's get the business out of the way. So let's talk and give a shout out to everybody in the chat. I see King Bucho's in the house as well in there. Shout out to King Bucho. Shout out to Thane Vakarian, Trey Asun, Boxing with Frank Bay. Shout out to Frank Bay, one of the initiated. Amok PvP in there. Lobito, aka Gonzalo. Night Murphy in the house as well. Shout out to him. Sam Rando, El Gordo. El Gordo is in the house. Marcus Larwa. Eric Rosas, another one of the initiated. Shout out to him. J. Colt, Mark T. Cloudy. Who else? Dark Hado, another one of the anointed. Shout out to him. Super Sardonic, full of hate. I'm telling you, these names. Handful of boxing review. Michael Poe in the house. Shout out to Michael Poe. Soothsayer, another one of the initiated. Good to hear back from him. Pretty sure he's counting down the days for August the 3rd for the return of Isaac El Pitbull Cruz. And Baron Evola, Fight or Flight Boxing. Round 1, Sergeant, Cloudy, Sam Rando, Mark T, and many more people to come. I'm sure, fellas, thank you for joining us. Really appreciate it. All right, now let me call a couple of people here. It will take less than 2 seconds, and then we can start talking about this amazing card that we've got coming up on Saturday. And I got to tell you, the main event is between Zhilei Zhang and Deontay Wilder, heavyweight mega fight. Well, mega fight. It's a heavyweight fight, and I say mega because both guys are pretty tall. Certainly new age heavyweights. And some might be thinking, if you look at their records, you might be thinking, well, why are these guys headlining? They're both coming off of losses. This is a fight that had to be the main event. Again, two big heavyweights, all the heavyweights, so you know they're probably going to get hit, and they pack a mean punch. I don't know how far this fight goes. And I don't know who to pick. To tell you to be honest here, and I'm always honest, but I just gotta emphasize that I really don't know who to pick. Hopefully you guys help me out, come to a determination here. But yes, indeed, this is gonna be the main event, I believe, unless I'm mistaken. Zhang versus Deontay Wilder. I see we got the guns, and we got Never Sobers jumping on the panel. Guys, thank you for joining us. Let's start with Zhang versus Wilder. What are you guys expecting from this fight?
Give me some headphones.
You got the headphones, Gonzalo. Come on, man.
Give me some headphones.
Gonzalo. that sounds creepy as fuck. That was creepy, man.
No, you gotta realize, what is it, 5:25 in the morning? Like, no, I'm in the boon. Hey, Mr. BDA, what's up, Mr. BDA? This guy's never faced a puncher in his life. I'm kind of like, I gotta get props with Deontay Wilder for taking the Zhilei Zhang fight. That was a fucking monster. Deontay Wilder did what he never did in his career in the past. What can you say? River me shivers.
All right. Sobers, what do you think?
Can you hear me all right, though, before I say anything?
Fine, man. Give me some headphones. Give me some.
I think it's going to be an entertaining fight, dude. I know, we shit on Wilder regularly, right? Because he deserves it. But I think this is a pretty good matchup. He has a good chin. I think he can stand up to some of Zhang's shots. And if he does, Zhang kind of tires out. Later on, we've seen that. That's the thing about him. He's an older dude. He gets tired. He has a lot of power, more skill. But if Wilder can hang in there, this guy Zhang kind of turns into a statue, and he can line him up with his right hand later on. So it's like, I'm wondering if Wilder can hang in there with, does he have the chin to still hang in there, or is he going to get knocked out early? Or like I said, can he hang in there and knock out Zhang later? Because I can see them knocking each other out at different parts of the fight.
All salient points, let me tell you. And yes, indeed, I want to talk about that, about the weight issue for Zhang, and the fact that perhaps these big guys, as crazy as it sounds, Wilder actually likes fighting, or it might actually benefit him to fight these big lumbering lummoxes. But before we get to that, Gonzalo mentioned that he's giving Wilder credit and he's just due for taking this fight. And okay, yeah, I'm happy the fight's happening because I'm looking forward to it. But let's face the facts. He's getting compensated by the Saudi money for this. It's the oil money. He had nowhere else to go. Al Heyman had him sidelined for about 2 years. He had nowhere to go. He had to come here if he wanted to make some money, and this is where he's at now, coming off a loss. He has to fight a dangerous guy. And same thing for Zhang. So how much credit should I give him? I don't know. I'll tell you what. I'll give him credit if he beats Zhilei Zhang, even though he's fighting an older guy. But I'll give him credit because Wilder ain't he's no spring chicken either. He's what, 38? Let's look at the tail of the tape. Yes, indeed. He's 38 compared to Zhang, who's 41. But I want to talk about that. I want to talk about what Sobers said, because again, if we get down to the nitty-gritty of this fight, and we got to pick a winner and give it an outline of how the fight's going to look. The closest guy that Wilder has ever fought to a Zhang type fighter is Luis Ortiz. And even though he struggled mightily in both fights, he did still manage to walk away with the knockout win. So can we expect him to score another stoppage this Saturday? I guess that he's southpaw who's slow, by the way. Slow southpaw.
It depends on whether his chin holds up or not, bro. Go ahead, Gonzalo.
Well, Sobers, I'm just gotta say that we talk about. Well, I'm gonna mention Butterbean. He was like, was he an amateur? Was he actually a professional BD? Butterbean?
He was a pro way. I think he might have fought Lewis
Yeah.
if
Okay.
I'm not mistaken. With
And he fought. Jesus Christ, what do you call it? The not Joe Lewis, but
Larry Holmes.
Larry Holmes. Larry Holmes. Um, this guy was a 4-round fighter because obviously he was a large man. And now we're living in an area where everybody like you're gonna say, oh, the big guys dominate, but there comes to a point where you're too bigger, larger than life. Like we're like fucking never mind the you cannot carry the fucking weight. Are you functional? This is what I'm saying. Well, in regards to Zhang Zhang, he was an amateur. He was a 4-round fighter, and obviously he performed within the first 6 rounds of a professional fight, probably. But after that, he gasses because he's such a gargantuan man. They compare him to fucking the dude from Mortal Kombat. What is his name?
Goro.
Fucking anyhow, El Goro. Anyways, if Deontay Wilder can make it above 6 rounds, that dude's gonna gas. But what I'm fucking saying, he's not necessarily slow, BDA. When it comes to that left hand, it's quick, and he will probably drop you, and it's gonna get to you because he is an amateur, and was he a gold medalist? So he can perform.
He was a bronze medalist, I think.
Well, it's kind of like the same as Deontay Wilder. Two bronze medalists competing against each other. But I'm going to say this. Zhang Zhang's left hand is quick. Just as quick as Deontay Wilder's right hand. So it's going to be a battle of you're going to trade the right with the left. And anything is game. And I'm thinking if Deontay Wilder cannot survive, I'm just saying it. If he cannot survive, obviously he's getting knocked out. If Deontay Wilder goes past 6 rounds, he wins. But if he doesn't, he's getting knocked out.
Interesting. But can I just clarify what I meant by slow, Gonzalo? And I'm not saying necessarily slow of hands, but he's a plodding type of guy. He doesn't really move the head. If you notice in his highest quality fights, or I guess his best opponents, so to say, he tends to pick shots off with his guard more than anything. There's no head movement. It's not like he's using his feet to get out of the way. It's really all dependent on his hands. And Deontay Wilder, even though he might be 38 years old, is still a light guy in there. He's about, 220, 221 pounds or something like that, depending on...
He was like 215 in his last fight. He looked really, really skinny, bro.
Right.
He looked like Fundora.
And with that 1-2, he's still substantially quicker than most guys. So I think that's what Sobers was hinting on, that if he lines up Zhang, remember how how Wilder cut Ortiz in the second one? Ortiz was winning the fight, backing Wilder up, and then all of a sudden he decided to stand still and allowed Wilder to shoot his shot. And if you rewatch the replay, slow motion, Ortiz is just standing there, big plodding old heavyweight southpaw, just waiting for the right hand, and he took it on the forehead, and that was it. I think it was in the forehead. It was lights out.
Well, but to caveat off of that, and not only to talk about like if he's slower or quicker within the first round, the left hand is quick because it's a straight left hand from Zhang. But not only that, he got a watermelon for a head. He's never been knocked out like that. The way he loses, yes, he gasses after 6 rounds. But it's not like you're gonna knock him out because you land. Even if you're a Deontay Wilder, the hardest hitter of all times. I think you remember Luis Ortiz was landing on fucking Deontay Wilder, and Deontay Wilder was also landing on Luis Ortiz, but Luis Ortiz was kind of like dealing with it just fine.
That's true.
It was just, and you think that Zhang, this guy weighs like a 270, and he's got a watermelon for a head. That he's not gonna be able to take a 220 man's punches, even if you call him the heaviest hitter of all times.
But now, okay, then that raises the question, Gonzalo. Do you think that Zhang can take the punch? Or do you expect him to get wobbled early and then, like you said, then he'll take it to Wilder?
Absolutely, he can take the punch, and he can throw a straight left. I think Zhang Zhang knocks out Wilder within 4 rounds, in my opinion.
Interesting. Yeah, because you are right. I mean, Ortiz did hurt Wilder in the first fight, and it was back and forth. I mean, it's either guy was gonna take the other one out. It was the way I characterize this fight is similar to the Ortiz fight. This is two cowboys going in there, both barrels, guns blazing. Now the difference is though, one guy actually has two pistols, one guy has only one pistol, and I'm talking about Deontay Wilder. His right hand is deadly, but that left hook, it's a slap. Whereas Zhang can knock you out with the left hand or with the right hook, as he demonstrated against Joey Joyce. But back to the matter at hand, which is, how is this fight gonna go? I can see what Gonzalo's talking about. But Gonzalo, here's my question though. If Wilder can't get Zhang out of there, but I think you said Zhang's gonna slow down. So how do you see the fight going? Do you see Zhang taking him out in under 6 rounds?
Well, like Zhang, he lost against Joseph Parker, right? That was a kind of controversial because he dropped him 2 times. Then against Kurgovich, it could have gone either way, and I think he dropped him 1 time. But I'm saying Zhang, for a big man, within 6 rounds, he's gonna perform just like you're gonna get the best of any heavyweight top contender. Probably at the cusp of an elite fucking fighter in the heavyweight division. After 6, all bets are off. That shit's just good. Like, he's gonna be a stone thrower. He's gonna get like disheveled. He's gonna like be like sprawled all over the place. Zhang after 6 is a different fighter before 6. And I'm saying because this guy was an Olympian, he's used to fighting 4 rounds. And I mentioned Butterbean. And I asked Sober, was that guy actually a professional? Well, like such a heavy guy, and I kind of like it rubbed me the wrong way because all of a sudden nowadays everybody's so fucking big that we cannot say, oh, these big guys cannot perform. But obviously, this guy is a gargantuan man, and obviously you see after 6-7 rounds that he fucking falls into pieces. He's kind of like a shell. There's a tale of 2 fighters. Zhang before 6 rounds is a total different fighter after 6 from 6 to 12. So what I'm saying, Zhang, he can do well, and he's got some speed. He can throw straight left, and if he's gonna go for the gusto, which I'm thinking that he wants, because you don't want to fucking. I don't know about Deontay Wilder after 6 because Deontay Wilder, I don't know what he's gonna do with Zhang. This is an interesting fight, but I'm thinking Zhang's power is greater than fucking Deontay Wilder's in the first 6 rounds.
Yeah, I think you might be onto something there. As far-fetched as it sounds for some people, I do believe, even though Wilder is quicker with his right hand, but Zhang has that type of power where it's just it moves people, whereas Wilder is more like a precision sniper shot that you don't see coming. Also, I like the fact that you reference Zhang throwing rocks, because he does look like a creature that emerged from a cave and he's actually throwing boulders at medieval peasants or something. This dude looks like he came out of another time, another era, pre-Diluvian.
He looks like they used to feed him virgins.
He looks like he eats bones for sustenance. I want to give a shot.
Let me mention, he's not a stone thrower like a Pitbull Cruz or like whatchamacallit. I can reference another Mexican fighter that many people don't necessarily know about. But I'm gonna say Zhang does sling a straight left, like quick and straight.
Absolutely.
And that shit will get to the target. That shit is dangerous. I'm thinking Zhang, because we talk about we're mentioning Devin Haney and like the rehydration. The heavyweights, they don't have to make weight. But obviously this dude is a large man. He packs a lot of punch. 270 pounds counts more than Deontay Wilder's 220. And with that straight left, I'm gonna tell you, fucking Zhang, he's harder than fucking Deontay Wilder. I don't fucking care. That's just a fucking fat guy.
That's a fat guy, or that's a fact? Are you saying that's a fact?
No, I agree with you, Way. I agree with you.
Hey,
he's a lot heavier than him.
With the straight left, dude, all that mass behind it. God damn, dude, that shit's gonna fucking like rock to your fucking boots, dude. 260, 270. He dropped. Who did he drop on the past fight? Even though he lost,
Parker.
Was it Parker is known to have
a good chin.
people
Yeah.
often like the boxing hipsters will say, "Oh, he's not that good," but obviously he's a veteran that's learned on the job. He's taken a few L's, but I thought early on he was considered to have a good chin.
He does have a good chin.
New Zealander, kind of like
he's resistant.
Parker got a good chin, dude.
He's resistant. He went 12 rounds against Dylan White. He's gone to war against Chisora. He went 12 rounds against Joshua. I mean, Joy stopped him, but it was cumulative damage. It wasn't one single shot. And like you said, to your point, Zhang did drop him with single shots. So Zhang can crack. Now let me just real quick. Let me get to a super chat here because again, we are going to be talking about the 5 versus 5 mega card coming up, and we're going to be taking predictions. So right now, this is the first one. We're going to be taking a lot of predictions. Shout out to Brown Gun 1 for his contribution with the super chat. And he says, Wilder stops the C19 fighter BDA USA UM. What does UM stand for? I don't somebody's going to explain that one to me. But okay, so I got Brown Gun there.
I think that's a emoji, but it's just like text for the emoji, translating it.
All right, there you go. But shout out to Brown Gun. I wrote it down. He says Wilder stops the C19 fighter. Brown Gun going with the gringo. I don't know what that's about. I think Brown Gun's starting to become gringoized. I think that's what's going on. But shout out to Brown Gun. And again, we're going to be taking down predictions for the mega card. So any prediction you want to give from any one of these 5 fights, feel free to do so. And we are going to be opening up the phone lines in about 30 minutes, 40 minutes. So stay tuned for that. All right, now back to this Zhang fight. Okay, so Sobers, do you agree with what Gonzalo's saying then, that it's 2 gunslingers and he feels that Zhang has a superior firepower? All right, that Sobers is giving me the fuck you with the silence. The indirect go fuck yourself. I'll say this.
Well, Betty, and like I mentioned, and not to toot my own horn, when it came to Zhilei Zhang, who did he knock out before the last fight that he lost?
Joyce.
The British guy.
Joyce.
Joe Joyce.
Joe Joyce, yeah.
Not only does he have a neck, he's got a right hand.
Yeah, that's why.
Ultimately, he knocked out Joe Joyce with the right hand.
Yeah, that's why I mentioned earlier. That's why I was referencing cowboys. Here's the deal. If you want to keep going back to the cowboy analogy, no, we're not talking about gay cowboys here. That's not this type of show. We're talking about a guy in Deontay Wilder, Wilder's the quicker draw. I think we can all agree on that. He's a quicker draw. But Zhang has 2 pistols. Right hand, he with that right hook, the way he dropped Joyce, and he's got the straight left. So if Wilder, he's a quicker draw, but if he misses or if his ammo is ineffective, he's going to be in trouble.
Do you think Zhang has a micro pistol, BDA?
Okay, come on, man. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to speculate about what the size of their pistols.
You think Wilder got the big iron on his hip or what?
You gonna go with the stereotypes here? By the way, apparently it's not a stereotype that Asians do tend to have smaller equipment. I think that was a study that was on. I don't know. I don't want to know who.
No, not Zhilei Zhang. That dude, I don't think he got the smaller equipment. That just dude is like, I mean, like you think of some of the most giant people in the world. You don't often think about like the Chinese, but for some weird reason, some of the world's largest fucking guys, if he's even 2 or 3 out of like a fucking 1,000, they're fucking Chinese.
Okay,
and Zhilei Zhang is a fucking giant.
I don't want to get. We're swerving into dangerous territory.
Danger.
I don't want to get. We're veering in dangerous territory. Let's move on. Let's stick to boxing here. Let's stick to boxing. Listen. Okay. This is the other question. This is the other question I had though, because Zhang did show up 290 against Joshua, and it cost him. Just taking one step, you could tell, was a laborious process for him. I don't understand what he was thinking. I mean, if you want to use that weight to fight the way Fury did against Wilder, you come in that heavy. But he's not that type of guy. He's a boxer-puncher. He waits, bites his time, and then he comes in with his shots. So I don't understand why. So at which weight should he come in?
No, because arguably he won the fight that according to the judges he lost. I'm not gonna get into that so much because obviously he's a big fucking guy and he obviously needs to cut a little bit and he can give us he could do a little bit for himself. But the dude, I'm not saying like, oh, there's such a big guy. He's doing what he does against Joseph Parker. Maybe he fucking won that. He could have done better. But the same against Hergovich. He probably won that too. The guy is like, he's never giving up. Even against Jerry Forrest, because he didn't fucking rehydrate. He didn't hydrate. Later say, oh, he fucking he did something wrong to like where he wasn't himself. That dude's never been knocked out. That dude's not quitting. Yes, he's getting fatigued, and he's getting a little disheveled after 6. Well, not a little, a lot, and he's losing his footing, and he's fucking a shell of himself, and it's a tell of one guy that's pretty good, and as opposed to a guy that's not the same guy after 6 rounds. But I'm gonna have to say this: Silly Zhang remains dangerous. China power.
Sobers, what do you think about all of this?
China power.
I think the heavier the better for Zhang, dude. He could need to come in heavy and need to try to get him out of there quick.
Huh. I don't know. For some reason, I'm thinking heavier means slower target and a big target, and i.e. Wilder's going to, like you said, laser him up with that right hand. So, I mean, I don't know, man. I'm still unresolved on this one.
I feel like he's so economical with his punches, bro. Zhang might not have to worry about it too much. And like I think Gonzalez bring up earlier, this guy's never really been dropped or knocked out. What if Wilder does hit him? And what if he just like eats that shit, you know? He couldn't drop Parker and he was landing on he landed his shot on Parker. You know what I mean?
That's
So
true.
what if
Yeah.
Zhang just walks through it?
Yeah, that's something.
And if he walks through it, then he's fucking in trouble for real.
For real. You know, that's something that Bucho and I have discussed before, and we're pretty adamant about that. When people make it out to be as if, oh, Wilder's the biggest puncher ever, they make it seem as if, well, he lands once, you're out cold. Nobody has that type of power. So you're right, man. If he lands on Zhilei Zhang, maybe Zhang takes it. What I'm worried about is that he gets wobbled by one of those forehead shots, and then Wilder does the windmill and they stop it prematurely or something. That's what I'm worried about. Again, you guys know my stance. If somebody gets hurt, I want to see him laid out on the canvas. This is high-profile championship boxing. I'm sorry if it's too brutal for some people's delicate dispositions, but this is what it's all about. You got to get these guys out on a stretcher, because, in fact, most boxers would agree with me. They want to be giving all the benefit of the doubt before a referee stops the fight. So, again, this fight is between two big punchers. Let them whack each other over the head. I don't want premature stoppages. By the way, shout out to Scalebender, a.k.a. Uncle Pete, for his contribution with the Super Chat. He says, what's he saying? He says, Wang squints his eyes like he's in a Western standoff. Who's Wang? I think he meant Zhang. I don't know if he's being facetious, stereotypical, the name Wang and all that. But he says squints his eyes like he's in a Western standoff. It's true, though. I mean, hey, that's Cowboys used to do that. They had to squint to concentrate during a standoff. I mean, hey, what else? How else are you going to do it? Wide-eyed like an owl? Doesn't happen. Doesn't work. So shout out to Uncle Pete for that.
As a consummate professional BDA, like, this sounds so cliche, but it's kind of true. The blueprint is out there. Yes, Deontay Wilder can crack with the right hand. And by the way, I never seen him hit on a punching bag. He's always hitting the turtle mitts, the big fat mitts. Malik Scott is always catching the punches, so he's never solidifying his
spin around and shit, do these weird uppercuts way, right?
Let's say he does have a hard punch. He's not making it any better, and he's just getting a little slower. But what I'm saying about the blueprint, let me block that fucking straight hand. Let me do my best to fucking take that punch, but not taking it flush on the chin. But if I'm Zhilei Zhang, yes, I also got my left and I also got my right. So I'm gonna fucking try to eat you up because I know you're dangerous, and I'm dangerous too. That's what I'm saying. I think Zhilei Zhang takes him out.
Now, that's an interesting thing. You mentioned the training because, yeah, Deontay Wilder has been very adamant about showing clips of his training. And he's doing all this pivoting. There's one point even, I should have saved the video. He's some old guy is holding the mitts. He looks like the guy you see at the barbershop. He's holding the mitts for Wilder, and Wilder's, okay, he's changing angles, pivoting, or not pivoting, but when you step out with your rear foot and you change the angle, and then back into the middle angle, and then he's pivoting. Then there's a point where he actually does a 360-degree turn, like he's playing basketball, b-ball, at the YMCA court. I'm thinking, what the fuck was that about? That was a complete waste of movement. You're not allowed to turn your back to your opponent. So I don't know what they're practicing. It seems like he's showing off. Here's my thing. he was already showing those type of angles all the way back into the build-up to the Tyson Fury Robert match, and we didn't see any of those magnificent angles. Same thing against Joseph Parker, and Joseph Parker was putting the pressure on him, so that was one of the best fights or opportunities for him to show those angles. So my thing is, you can train out those angles all you want, but it's one thing to do it in the gym, it's another one to do it when it counts, under the bright lights. So what do you think, guys? Do you think he's going to show the improved footwork in this fight, or is it going to be same old Wilder?
I mean, also, he's got a bunch of yes men around him, and I'm specifically talking about the man that you're referencing, Malik Scott. And, you know, Malik Scott has also been working with Zurdo Ramirez. But a lot of times when you look at Malik Scott in a picture, he kind of looks confused. He doesn't have the air appearance of a guy. He doesn't have the air appearance of a guy that knows what the fuck he's doing. I'm just telling you, when I look at his face, he's almost judging you for your character rather than if I'm look, BDA, if you talk to me and you impart your knowledge, I'm gonna listen to you, and my eyes are gonna be like listening and wide apart, maybe like with the kind of like interesting look, not just kind of speak of like, you know, because I'm trying to like make myself sound important. But if like you were to take a picture, look, I'm always going to listen to the other guy, what he has to say. Deontay Wilder is almost like, no, correction, Malik Scott is almost like, oh, I got this relation with Deontay Wilder. We have big money. I protect them. I'm his yes man. And when everybody else has something to say and you capture a picture of him, it's almost like, dude, he's not looking like a boxing trainer. He's kind of looking at other things rather than what a trainer should look like. He does not look like a boxing trainer, in my opinion. I know he used to be an ex-boxer. You know what I mean, BDA?
I mean, kind of. Let's get Sobers in here. Sobers, do you concur with what Gonzalo is saying, his observation?
Yeah, you know, I will say this about it. You know, really, it's for cutting the bullshit. I'm trying to keep it fair and, you know, be a little unbiased towards Wilder. But really, this is the moment. This is kind of what we've been waiting for. You know, he done lost his protection. He's out of Al Heyman's grasp. He done lost his O. He's not, you know, so no one's really watching his back anymore. They've already sent him out there to Saudi Arabia by himself. He's already lost. This is the time in his career, bro, where these like Devin Alexander, he just lost in Russia. I think was it yesterday or earlier this morning? He just got knocked out again. You know, Devin Alexander was undefeated in America, and he was supposed to be the next great thing. He had a bad fight with Timothy Bradley, and then his career went down the drain after that. Some of it had to do with drugs, right? But whatever. That's where I see. Whatever, but that's where I see it's happening. That's where I see it's happening to Wilder now, bro. You're not protected no more. You lost your O. This is what happens when these Americans lose their O. Everyone runs a train on them, and then no one gives a fuck about them no more. You know what I mean? The protection squad's over. You're not that undefeated product. So this is what's gonna. So I got Zhang beating his ass, and I'm gonna enjoy it.
All right. Yeah, no idea. Okay, then enough prevarication. Let's get right down to it. So Sobers is saying he has Zhang beating that ass. All right. And may I also say that there's wider implications, no pun intended, wider implications about this fight, because it is China versus the United States. There's a paradigm shift occurring in geopolitics right now. China, the economy, it's set to overtake, if it hasn't already, America, and a lot of the American cognoscenti, if you will, you know, the powers that be, they can't let that go. So this fight might be symbolic of that turn, much like how Joe Louis knocked out Max Schmeling during World War II or in the build-up to World War II. So I don't know. Maybe I'm making too much of it. I don't know. But anyway, real quick, before we get to Gonzalo's prediction, shout out to Amak PvP for his contribution with the Super Chat. He says, I want USA to win, but he wants to get pregnant. Hashtag Zhang. Okay, no, he's talking about Deontay Wilder's comment about wanting to be pregnant. I mean, I don't know, man. Deontay Wilder, Zhilei Zhang kind of looks like an overgrown baby. So maybe Wilder's going to start hallucinating in there if he gets hit too much and start thinking that Zhang is his baby and he's going to let himself get knocked out or something. I don't know. It's anything.
You think he's going to try to breastfeed him, BDA?
Ah, jeez, Luis. I mean, listen. Zhilei Zhang does kind of look like the baby at the end of 2001: A Space Odyssey. This giant baby floating in the cosmos. That's what Zhilei Zhang is. He's a giant bald guy, man. But yeah, so shout out to Amak. I'm going to have to write that one down. Now, wait a minute. What's he saying? He says, I want the USA to win, but he wants to get prey. All right, that's not quite a prediction there. But Gonzalo, what's your prediction?
Well, this is one department that out of anything like negative that I would oftenly probably criticize Deontay Wilder, that he doesn't possess other than the right hand, he's got something going for himself. Also, he's not necessarily like just because Jesus Christ, because he does the
come on,
fucking what do you call it, like what do you call it when he does like the fucking shaking his ass?
What are you talking about? What?
When he shakes his ass, what do you call it? And they call him like a bitch for that reason.
Back foot bitch?
No, he's not.
Oh, what are you talking about when he twerks?
He twerks.
Okay, yeah.
He's actually he's pretty tough, dude. He's pretty tough. Deontay Wilder can kind of hold his own. He's not fucking quitting. He's actually kind of he is a tough guy.
That's true.
He's not a fucking quitter. Yeah, but I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say that I think Jilly Zhang, the 40-pound difference, is gonna matter. And if he doesn't catch him with the straight left, he's gonna catch him with the right hook, with the two-piecer. And he's going to put him on spaghetti legs with the left hook, and with the right hook, he's going to clean his clock. And I say he knocks him out within 4 rounds, because that's when he's really dangerous. Zhang, amateur fighter, power puncher, bronze medalist, bronze versus bronze. The monster, fucking Zhang, cleans his clock within 4 fucking rounds with the two-piecer, the left followed by a right hand.
Now, Gonzalo, do you think it's gonna be? Do you think it's gonna be a brutal knockout? Meaning, Wilder's, like you said, spaghetti legs, sprawled out on the canvas, his family crying ringside. Whoa. Come on, break it down.
Yeah, and because I think the half Filipina black girl that's his girlfriend is kind of pushed him to fight, continue fighting, because he's making millions, and I cannot blame him. But I'm saying he never did that before, BD. How many power punches did he face before? Now he's doing it? That's just a fucking suspect. And Zhang saying is kind of the dark horse. And I cannot throw him under the rug because he lost against who he lost, Joseph Parker and Hergovich, like I said. Because those, arguably, he still won those 2 fights and he dropped those guys. So he remains dangerous, whether people like to admit or objectively notice that. This is the truth.
Joseph Parker has wins over Andy Ruiz, Carlos Takam. He's got a win over Zhilei Zhang and Wilder. He has a much better resume.
On paper.
He has a much better resume than Wilder. He has a much better resume than Wilder, I'll tell you that. And that's why I think it's on the line now. Wilder needs to prove, because really, if Wilder were to retire now, what's his best win? What's his legacy based on?
A draw against Fury, Tyson Fury, and Luis Ortiz, the 2 times, but Luis Ortiz was never anything. Oleander Solis was a better amateur than Luis Ortiz. Remember Oleander Solis back in the 2000s? BD?
Oh, man, yeah, you're going way back now.
Well, I mean, those are the guys that those guys were way better than Luis Ortiz. Well, he was kind of like within that also. He was competing against those guys. That was a fucking old guy. That's not a gimmick. That's not a lie. That was fucking old. He lost his passport. Like, people think it's just a joke. that fucking dude was like fucking 50 guy.
I mean,
Luis Ortiz, wait.
If you check his hands, you can see the pyramid dust on them. I mean, this guy is old and possibly older than what he claims. So, and the fact that he gave Wilder the business twice, it doesn't bode well for Wilder. I'm telling you, he needs this win. And I'm not saying this win makes him a Hall of Famer, but I mean, if he loses now, his whole career is very Errol Spencer-ish. It's like, okay, well,
BDA, King Kong sounds good. It kind of sounds intimidating, King Kong Ortiz. But King Kong Ortiz never really did nothing in the heavyweights. Let's just fucking be honest. And you know that. People, but I don't know what it is about people that they can understand. Boxing is boxing. Muscles don't count for nothing. Amateur experience really doesn't really count in the professionals either. How many amateurs that have been gold medalists have succeeded in the professionals? Very few, to be honest.
Recognizing the chat says Wilder gets KO'd early, or Wang Everyone's calling him Wang now. Or Wang gets stopped mid-fight. Whoa, okay, so he's going with Wilder. Oh, no, excuse me. Wilder gets KO. Okay, so he's saying Zhang early, Wilder late. I can see that because Wilder does have some durability to him. Like Guns was alluding to earlier, he took his lumps against Tyson Fury in the second fight and in the third fight. It was not quitting him. You got to give him that. I mean, it's not for us to give him. I mean, he earned it. He wasn't going anywhere. He was willing to die in that ring, and not many guys do that. Look at Demetrius Andrade. He took 2 harsh rounds from Benavidez, and he called it quits. That dude was always. I mean, I can't stress it enough. That dude pulled the wool over people's eyes for years. Deontay Wilder, not as technically proficient or as amateur experienced as Andrade, but man, he gave it his all against Tyson Fury. So you got to give him that.
Yeah, he's got heart. He's durable, BDA. He's pretty tough.
But that's the other question that's the other question that I was bringing up in the lead up to the Parker fight, and I think it's now more pertinent than ever. What does he have left? Because against Parker, it looked like he couldn't pull the trigger, and I always wonder, did those 2 Fury beatings take a lot out of him, especially at his age now, 38?
I think he's off the good sauce. He gained like 30 pounds in between that first and second fight of muscle with the against Fury.
Uh-huh.
And then when he came in against Joseph Parker, he was back down like to 110, and he looked kind of sickly to me. Like I said earlier, he built